group of young black activists created SNCC, or the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, while at a sit-in in Greensboro, North Carolina, a couple of years ago. In an attempt to peacefully advocate racial equality, students would sit and refuse to leave the restaurant. People are attracted to this group because they give more of a voice to the younger community in the civil rights movement, and they're faster paced toward making a change in society.
Well, SNCC is advocating against Jim Crow laws to establish equality in public places. This southern group of college students is striving towards equal treatment in restaurants, businesses, housing, voter registration, and bus terminals. They also have opened schools and health clinics.
The group consists mostly of southern young black student activists, but has also opened its doors to allowing whites, non-students, and northerners to join.
Recently, they've asked white members to leave the group and rid the racism in their own communities.
While they were originally non-violent, they have switched their tactics and are now arming themselves.
A majority of the white community is outraged and afraid SNCC is out for revenge, and its members are seeking to kill.
The SNCC has commented back saying they are arming themselves purely on a basis of their own protection.
This new approach SNCC is doing was instituted by Stokely Carmichael when he became the head of the organization. He believes in creating a black community apart from the white community.
His thought process is that African Americans have spent too long waiting for a white community to take action and in turn grant them rights. The white community has spent a large amount of time and energy to prevent equality in public places. Stokely wants the black community to take matters into their own hands, popularizing the term Black Power, which encourages pride amongst black. This will hopefully create a new community apart from the white community. That's all.
Earlier today, 4 Negroes started what they declared a growing movement. After entering the Woolworth store on South Elm Street in downtown Greensboro, the young men claimed 4 spots at the lunch counter, where they requested service, ordering sodas, coffee, and donuts. Due to the owner's customer policy, which is to only serve whites at the counter, the 4 were denied. Peacefully demanding service, they refused to give up their seats. Police were called to the scene, but were unable to remove the men because of their patience and lack of disturbance. When asked about his policy, the owner replied, "It's a custom which has existed for years. A private businessman can serve or not serve at his discretion." After hours of sitting at the counter, the 4 young men left. Jabril Kazan of Greensboro, Franklin McCain of Washington, Joseph McNeil of Wilmington, and David Richmond of Greensboro are all students of North Carolina Agriculture and Technical College. However, they stated that their actions have no affiliation to the school. As they departed, they have announced that this is only the beginning of a growing movement that will continue tomorrow, along with many other people until they are granted equal service. When asked how long they think their protest will last, Franklin McCain told reporters, "Several days, several weeks, until something is done." It seems that the 4 are looking for much more than just lunch counter service and will remain persistent until equality is served. Reporters will return to the scene tomorrow.
In Jackson, Mississippi this year, a sit-in group, including whites as well as Negroes, stoically faced a moment of grotesque violence. It told its own story, needed no comment. One Negro student, Memphis Norman, was dragged from his stool and brutally beaten. Norman, who had offered no resistance, was arrested, as well as his assailant. The sitters, white and Negro, spattered with ketchup and mustard, sugar, salt, and pepper, were carted off, unprotesting, to jail.
It is clear to me that we have to wage a psychological battle on the right for black people to define their own terms, define themselves as they see fit, and organize themselves as they see it. Now, the question is, how is the white community going to begin to allow for that organizing, because once they start to do that, they will also allow for the organizing that they want to do inside their community. It doesn't make a difference, because we're going to organize our way anyway. We're going to do it. The question is how we're going to facilitate those matters, whether or not it's going to be done with 1,000 policemen with submachine guns, or whether or not it's going to be done in a context where it is allowed to be done by white people warding off those policemen. That is the question. And the question is, how are white people who call themselves activists ready to start move into the white communities on 2 counts, on building new political institutions to destroy the old ones that we have, and to move around a concept of white youth refusing to go into the army, so that we can start then to build a new world. It is ironic to talk about civilization in this country. This country is uncivilized. It needs to be civilized. It needs to be civilized.
The once peaceful leader of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC, Stokely Carmichael, is now reported to be a huge supporter of the Black Power movement. After being arrested again, he was quoted saying, "This is the 27th time I have been arrested, and I ain't going to jail no more." Carmichael is one of many who realize these peaceful protests aren't going to get the job done. Inarguably, his most important speech to date, he talks about the issue at University of California at Berkeley. The video that we just showed you is new evidence that the SNCC followers will begin to support Black Power, using it as self-defense. Carmichael wants to be armed against people who will potentially hurt him and his followers. With numerous unsuccessful sit-ins, he feels protecting himself against potential threat is what needs to be done. And many agree. Hence, Black Power. Carmichael is said to step down from the SNCC and become the Prime Minister of Black Panthers for Black Power, while in the movement to free Huey Newton, one of the leaders of the Black Panthers by February of 1968.
All of the sit-ins were good because it was a very peaceful approach to the inequality.
Even though these sit-ins were peaceful, nothing gets done from them, and no changes has been happening. But Stokely's Black Power helped show blacks to not just sit around, and that you should go out and make something happen, and not just wait for it to happen to yourself.
But the Black Power movement gave whites the wrong idea. Blacks weren't trying to be oppressive, they were trying to be equal, and that movement gave the opposite impression.
But these sit-ins almost did nothing but anger whites and just kind of annoy them. But Black Power empowered people to change, and they gave power to people without voices.
Sit-ins created tension, but it was just enough tension so that many people realized there was a problem. It's not like the Black Power movement that caused so much tension that violence broke out. It made those without voices seem racist against whites.
But maybe seeming racist to whites might not be the worst thing, because it at least causes tension and shows whites that there's an issue going on with equality. And also, students are too immature to run their own organization and sit-ins.
Yeah, but they were mature enough to start the organization at all.
But just because they started something doesn't mean that they can finish it.
But it's still happening. At least they were mature enough to get many black people to register to vote.
But they're not mature enough to get any change.
That's just false.
That was my whole thing. It's just that nothing's getting done. I don't know. We should just stop it.
This country is a nation of thieves. It stands on the brink of becoming a nation of murderers. We must stop it. We must stop it. We must stop it. We must stop it.
Should I say self-defense again?
Yeah,
So it's just
please.
Self-defense, self-defense. All right. Self-defense. Oh my.
Okay, don't do that.
Okay. Okay. self-defense. Carmichael, okay, no, I'm just gonna say this. He feels protecting himself against a potential threat is what needs to be down. And many agree.
Done.
It says down on the paper! Protecting himself against potential threat is what needs to go done. It's just really upsetting because I think every time I'm saying it right, like I'm like, it's down because it says it, and then it's not. Okay. Carmichael wants to be armed against people who will potentially hurt him and his followers. With his numerous unsuccessful sit-ins, he feels protecting himself against potential threat is it needs to go down. Oh my god! Like,
Reporters will return to the scene tomorrow.